What's up everybody, welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. So I left off on the last video getting the heads pulled off of the 6-liter engine in the white truck. My best guess after doing a pretty thorough inspection is that the head gasket was leaking. I'll put the video link up here. You can check that video out. But today, do the cam swap with the engine still in the truck. In order to do this, I need to get my accessory bracket off the front of the engine here. It's held in place with 4 15mm bolts. 3 of them go into the cylinder head, and there's 1 down at the very bottom that goes into the engine block. You'll also need to disconnect your power steering pump hoses in order to get that out of there. The water pump itself is held in place with, I believe, 4 10mm bolts. You need to unbolt that and disconnect the hoses from the water pump, upper, lower, as well as your 2 heater hoses. And then you'll be able to get that out of the way. And then the last thing we'll need to do is get the crank pulley pulled off of the front of the crankshaft. And once we get that stuff done, we're gonna get the electric fans out of the way, and then we're gonna pull the radiator out of the way. Hopefully that'll give us enough space that we can get the camshaft in and out of this engine. All right, we're cruising right along on this thing. So, I got the crank pulley off. That little tool I have works great. I mean, for 35 bucks, it does a killer job. If you're familiar with these, there's a little wire holder right down here at the bottom of the front timing cover. You take out a 10mm bolt on this side and then slide the plastic over and down out of your way. Then there's 2 bolts that go through the oil pan into the timing cover from below, and then just the 10mm bolts around the perimeter of the timing cover, and then the timing cover can come off. So I'm gonna get that timing cover off and then attempt to pull the camshaft out, see if I have enough space here. It's gonna be really close. It's gonna be really close, but I think I have enough space to just barely squeak it out. And then once I get the camshaft out, I'll probably be done for tonight. Wait until tomorrow when the new cam is supposed to get here. All right, we're cruising right along on this. It's actually going smoother than expected. Got the timing cover off, got the cam gear off, got the cam retainer plate off. All I need to do now is see if I can slide that cam out of there. I'm gonna use 2 of the bolts out of the water pump. They're the same thread, but they're nice and long, so it gives enough leverage to help you get the cam out of there. So I'm gonna use those and try to pull this thing out. Okay. See if this thing cooperates, and this cam just comes out for me nice and easy. Never hurts to be optimistic. There we go. Remember, try to be gentle because you don't want to bang and nick up your cam bearings. Especially if you're like me and you're not planning to replace them. Alright, we'll get to the next cam journal. I'll take my little bolts out. So far this cam looks to be in really good condition. No poorly worn lobes or anything like that. All the journals look nice. Oh, it's going to be so close. Yes, Victory! Success! Alright team, that's where I'm leaving it for tonight. I'm gonna hose everything down with WD-40. My new cam is supposed to get here tomorrow, so I'll slam that back together. Productive day! Today, we're gonna finish the cam swap in the 6-liter LQ4 and this white 2500 HD. I've got some new parts for this project. First one is right here in this box. Our new Summit Racing camshaft. This is from the Summit Pro LS series of cams. So this cam, it's the 8708. This one has 231 degrees of intake duration at 50 thousandths lift and 242 degrees of exhaust duration at 50 thousandths lift. It's a 113 degree lobe separation angle, and it's ground with a 3-degree advance. It should give me a little bit of a choppier idle. I'll probably hit peak power somewhere around 4,500 to 5,000 RPM. I plan to spin the engine to about 55 to 5,800, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I mean, this truck is going to be for play. It's not a daily driver. It's not something that I'm going to be sitting in a lot of traffic. This truck is going to be for fun, shenanigans, probably some burnout contests, things like that. So this engine's going to live in the higher RPM range. I think this cam is going to be a good fit. I also have a new cam retainer plate. I always replace these when I put a new camshaft in. The valve covers on this engine were leaking, so I got a new set of valve cover gaskets, and I also got a new set of exhaust manifold bolts. I've got my camshaft all cleaned up. I got all the shipping lube and packaging lubrication cleaned off of it. All the lobes look in really good shape. All the journals, bearing journals look in really good shape. No schmutz or weird stuff or anything like that on it. It's nice and clean. So, I don't have any assembly lube, but this is also an engine that's been run before. So, I'm gonna lube it with just a little bit of the engine oil I plan to run. All around, good. Slowly and carefully feed this in, nice and straight. Remember, you don't want to bang up your cam bearings. Take your time, be gentle, lots of oil. Before we start this engine up, I'll crank it over a bit with the ignition plug pulled and all of the spark plugs out, just to get everything pre-lubed up. Make sure I have oil, pressurized oil in the oiling system. That's going to get to the bearings, get to the lifters, everything else as soon as I'm ready, as soon as the engine fires. There we go. Just like that. From there, assembly is just the opposite process of disassembly. Step, get our new cam retainer plate installed. Make sure you don't have any grit or anything like that on the surface here where the cam retainer plate goes up against the block. The torque spec on these bolts is 18 foot-pounds. Like anything else, get all the bolts started before you tighten any of them. There we go. Okay, now we need to make sure the cam can still move and spin freely, and then we'll get our timing set put back on. Now to make sure my cam can move freely, I just use one of those water pump bolts again. I move it forward and backward, and then I spin it. And everything spins free, everything moves just fine. So that one's good. So we can go ahead and put our timing gear back on. Make sure our timing is right. So I have my number 1 piston at top dead center. I have the little mark, the timing mark, on my lower timing gear. I'm reusing my stock upper timing gear. I'm going to get my camshaft close to where I think it is going to need to be based on the timing marks. There we go. And then this is the part that can be a little tricky, is getting that chain on and in position that your marks line up. There we go. Get at least one bolt put in. Make sure my gear doesn't move on me or fall off or anything like that. Come on, little bolt. Go to your home. There we go. That one went to its home. There we go. Your cam gear bolts are 10 millimeters and they get torqued to 26 foot-pounds. Okay, now we just need to get our lifters and lifter trays put back in place where they go. All right, in this engine, I'm reusing the factory lifters. This engine didn't have any lifter tick, didn't have any issues. It only had 91,000 miles on it. I guess I shouldn't say it didn't have any issues. It had low compression on at cylinder 5. But the rollers spin nice and smooth. No flat spots or sticky spots or any type of roughness when they roll. So I'm reusing them. I'm going to give a little dabby of oil down each lifter bore. Put a little oil on each lifter. Oil is cheap, guys. There's no time to be stingy with your oil. Drop them right back down in there. Just like so. And then get my lifter tray retaining bolt down hand tight. Now I am putting these lifters back in the bore that they came out of. They're in the same position in the engine, they're just going to be rolling on a different cam. Primary reason I'm doing it that way is really just because they worked well in these bores. They didn't have any issues. I don't see any unusual or abnormal or excessive wear, but if they were happy in those bores, why not put them back where they were happy? Boom. That cam lifter tray bolt in place. Now I've looked and looked and I can't find a torque spec for these lifter tray retainer bolts. I've just been torquing them based on the size of the bolt, and I just go to 12 foot-pounds or 144 inch-pounds, whichever way you prefer to say it. All right, we've got our lifters back in. Before I go any further, I'm gonna put my crankshaft bolt back in the snout of the crankshaft. I'm gonna rotate the engine over a couple times just to make sure I don't have any interference at this point. I shouldn't, but I like the peace of mind of knowing that I rotated the engine and everything was clearing the way it's supposed to. Once. There we go. Timing marks lined up perfectly. Everything spins over freely. I think we're good to go on this baby. Alright, I'm going to show you a little trick to get your crank pulley back on if you've never done this before. The crank pulley fits over the crankshaft in a press fit. So you can't just slide it on there. There's no keyway or anything. It's a press fit. It stays and spins with the crankshaft based on friction. The easiest way I know to do this, especially if you're just working in your home garage, is to warm up the snout of the crank pulley a little bit with just your MAP gas torch or a propane torch or something like that. You don't want it to be so hot that it's going to melt rubber, because remember, you're putting it into the rubber seal that is your front main seal. So you get it warm, stick it on there, and then tighten down the crank bolt with your impact gun right away. And that's worked great for me several times, and you can do it pretty much anywhere. You do need an impact gun to do it, so whether it's a battery-powered impact or an air-powered impact, make sure you have that ready with the right size bolt so you can hit it with that as soon as you get that crank pulley slid on there. That should be good. Like I said, you don't want it to be so hot that it's gonna melt your seal. go. There we go. Crank pulley in place. I can see that it's pulled all the way down. So that part's good. All right, that's it for this. I'm excited to see how this thing runs with this cam. It's probably the most aggressive cam I've put into one of these engines so far. It's still going to be drivable on the street, I think. I'll probably want to put a higher stall converter in at some point, but I'll handle that when I do a shift kit in the transmission. For now though, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helps you swap camshafts in one of your projects. And until the next video, take care.